Orb presents Midlife Chrysalis.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And welcome back.
It's Cronenbergian.
Pull up a Cronenberger and fries.
I'd rather not, if I could help it.
Yeah. We're talking, as mentioned, we're talking about Midlife Chrysalis today. This is an episode that I love the concept of that is slightly lighter on jokes than I remember. Like, still really good, like funny situations.
Yes.
But slightly lighter on jokes than I recalled.
I think I fall about the same spot here. I've got a huge tender spot in my heart for this. Although, like, what passes for a joke in this, there are 2 points where something gets under my skin where, like, where Rusty gets good, he gets good characterization in this, but he also has lines where he says, like, oh, my body's going down faster than babies into a toilet. Like, it fires off a little bit like a Dennis Miller line, like, on a prom night, cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha, baby. Yeah. Do I make you think, baby? I'm Dennis Miller. Yeah, that's not great. And it also just, stinks of early 2000s.
Yeah.
Kind of, again, like we talked about Jeremy last episode, like, being the dead baby joke guy in the early 2000s as a thing. That is definitely a bummer.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know. This is a great Brock episode. This is kind of where I think
good helper episode.
Excellent helper episode. And it's a good Doc episode too. Like, I don't know, seeing his idea of what it's like to get back out on the scene is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah. It's very funny, but it's like less joke and more situation.
Yeah. It's more like character work going on here than anything else.
Yeah, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, of course. As introduced by our guest and theme song composer, Gwen, I'm borrowing a little bit of her steez to bring up the Augusta St. Cloud moment of something I wish I had said in an old episode.
Okay.
Or something.
We're doing an errata here. This is okay.
It's errata. It's not really a correction, but a little bit of trivia that I thought I meant to mention last episode, and I forgot because I was jeeping with you and Jeremy.
Okay.
In the last episode when Doc was wandering around the Arctic, they were going to try to get the rights to a song called Sweden by the Divine Comedy.
Yes.
And I went and listened to that song, and it's fucking weird as hell. Like, that's all this errata note is. But it's like this haunted house, like, I would like to live in Sweden. Like, it's super scary, and the video is scary. And yeah, it would have worked if they had done it as a scary scene.
Yeah, I remember reading that, but I didn't go and do a lookup. I figured that was a like a Doc Hammer, just kind of like, what can we find that's more obscure than Bauhaus kind of pull. Yeah.
Like that's kind of Doc's thing. Divine Comedy, weird trivia thing too, is before that guy became like an art pop guy, their first record, which they've tried to bury, is like an REM pastiche, basically.
Oh, huh.
It's all like straight, like it's pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, I like the Divine Comedy when they're being art house fucks too. Like, but the guy, I can't remember the name of the guy from it.
Right.
But the first album is this weird little REM pastiche that they attempted to be like, no, we're art now.
Yeah.
We don't do jangle pop.
We certainly weren't trying to ride that wave of post punk. Yeah.
Nope, we're different weirdos.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So this episode, it also has a couple of interesting firsts.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about when we get there. I'm including like a pretty obscure one. This first aired on September 25th in 2004. It is the third in production order, but as we episode 9 in air order. And this is the first episode that Hammer and Public wrote together.
Right. And I was curious to see them talk about this in the book. I figured with how much they do, with how funny they are when they're bantering with each other, and how much that kind of comes through in the conversations whenever there's two dipshits in the show, I figured their collaboration process would be like that. But no, apparently, like when they collaborate on an episode, they will split it up, and just say, you take this scene, I'll take this scene. They write it together and then they merge it, because neither of them can stand the process of throwing out a joke that they think is really funny and having the other person reject it out of hand.
Yeah, this actually made a lot of sense to me.
Yes.
They're kind of on the same wavelength and they're fun together, but collaborative writing is hard.
Yes.
I can't really imagine, doing that, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like in the same room, just being like, okay, how about this is the next line? And the other person being like, no. Just being like, well, fuck. This thing's got to be written. This sucks.
There's a really funny, there's a real good episode of This American Life from, 14 years ago now, where they go into the writer's room at the Onion. And they kind of just go through the entire process of like headline pitches and stuff like that. And it's brutal. I like that. Yeah. Hearing that made me terrified of any process that would be similar to that. So I could see wanting to design a process where you're not where you're not subjecting yourself to that, especially with someone you have to work with all the time. Like actual television production, like scripts and stuff, like writers' rooms will get together for concepting and for punch up, but like usually it is done like this, where people get their assignments and go off and get their pages together and then come back. It is not like painstaking word by word.
When Mr. Show reunited to do that Netflix show with Bob and David, the 4th episode is just behind the scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. And they kind of show this as well. Yeah. And it's like, all these people are fun people who I like, but boy, does the work not seem fun.
Yeah.
To me.
Mm-hmm. So that was interesting to hear about. I like this as a Brock episode. His crisis in this, where he loses his license to kill and needs to get it back, is great. The process and how he passes the exam is a really cool, like, establishing moment for him. Yeah. I need to be more specific than cool. It's very apt to me. It's memorable. The gags that play there.
Cool pupil, Cole.
That'd be a better movie if they did.
Cool pupil.
Hi, I'm David Schwimmer. I'm your cool, relatable teacher. Oh, you're going to shoot me at the end? Okay.
Look at this kid. He's so fucking cool. Can you imagine a New England town haunted by a cool kid?
It's a good short story. That's part of the same collection that Stand By Me and Shawshank were in. But
don't go up to the old asylum. There's kick flips. I just run this general store. But,
it's really funny for to hear your like stereotypical idea of what a Stephen King story is applied to that. Mm-hmm. Knowing what Apt Pupil actually
asylum
is.
With a kick flip.
Yeah.
No, I know what Apt Pupil is from the movie.
Okay.
From the film adaptation.
Right.
The DVD commentary on this has a couple of useful nuggets, but I think is probably in the running for one of the most useless tech commentaries.
Yeah, no, I started dusting my living room when I was listening to this.
It's like kind of fun. It's like a fun kind of podcast, but boy, do they not really comment.
This is the one where they get about halfway through before they say, "Oh, we should probably talk about the episode." And this is definitely us being hypocritical, but
totally.
Also, it's not a commentary that we're doing on a thing that we made.
Well, and I mean, we do spend more than half, on it. Like we will, it's not like degrees matter,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In this, it's also kind of gross. This is the one where they start talking about, they bring up the "Who Would You Have Sex with the Venture Brothers" thing, which
again
is real weird that it comes up in 2 commentaries on the first season.
Yeah.
And this is the one where Doc makes an off-color joke about taking Dean's virginity.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I mean, the early 2000s were a time. We get it. We're giving you guys a lot of grace.
Yeah, you're making it hard. If you're gonna mention me when I retweet something that I like, don't act a fool in the comments.
Please don't fucking embarrass me.
Doing that kind of thing. I rubbed my face in exasperation when I heard that too.
Yeah, it's a little rough. But the good note from it is they talk a little bit about Rusty, his characterization from this, which kind of came from two things. Like one, the vocal performance from James Urbaniak, who had the note I have is something like useless, oily sexuality, which I really like that turn of phrase.
It's so good.
And then the movie Nixon, where like Nixon has to go on TV and he's all sweaty and disgusting. He's just this horrible, ugly man. And he turns to the stage and goes, "Time to turn on the old Nixon jar." It's just the idea of the old Nixon charm.
That's a thing that you think you have.
Oh, time to go.
Oh, I can't go to prison, Monty. They'll leave me alive.
Okay. My voice sounds like a gigantic floating labia. It's just incredible stuff.
Yeah. Oh gosh. This also starts the infatuation between Rusty and Dr. Girlfriend. That is played out, and like just it's hilarious to see her crisis of conscience when she understands what she did to him, but then like reconcile that later on when she just runs out of patience for it because he is oblivious to any actual signal that she is sending.
He's horrible.
Yeah,
and it's weird too because like that plot doesn't go far enough for me or like resolve far enough,
right?
And they kind of like repeat these arcs. Like this is an episode where originally they didn't need to be the monarch, they just need to have this happen to Doc, but they have her kind of having sympathy for Dr. Venture is not that dissimilar from when they kidnap the boys.
Yes.
And then the monarch has sympathy for them. And then I watched ahead a couple episodes because it was fun. And I was watching, Are You There, God? It's Me, Dean. Great episode.
Yep.
Next episode we're talking about. And that also has kind of a repeat of that arc, like them kind of having affection for the kids. So you can kind of see, early on when they talk about how, this wasn't originally the monarch, but we decided to do it. I was like, of course you do it. There's no downsides. But the kind of downside is that there is this slippery kind of reality where they keep forgetting that just earlier in the season, like they've done these sympathy beats.
Yeah, that's usually something when a show runs for a very long time. Like over the run of King of the Hill, Hank learns the same lesson about Bobby 7 times.
Oh, like how many times has Homer learned to not take Marge for granted?
Right. Yeah.
It's like 1 out of every 4 episodes. But this is all within the first 9 episodes of this show.
Right.
It's not. Yeah.
And there could be hay made out of the idea that Dr. Venture's enemies are better natural caregivers than he is for his own kids.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Where do you go? Where do you go with that? Right.
Well, and it's just not consistent. Like in the next episode, the monarch is basically just like pranking Hank.
Yes.
And being a shitbag, the whole time because he's like a bored kid.
Yeah.
The characterization is a little inconsistent, which is okay.
Yeah. This is, I mean, I call this a good characterization episode for Dr. Venture, but also like the monarch is really good in this. Like this is where his insecurity really comes in. In a good way, and like it underlines an arc for at least the first 2 seasons where their relationship is falling apart, the monarch and Dr. Girlfriends, right?
Yeah, and that's going to be in a tag sale a couple episodes from now.
Yeah,
is going to have some hinting and some legs to it. So we start off with a cold open. The X-1 is flying, and some military jets right up alongside it, telling them they're in restricted airspace. They have to land or be shot down.
I love Rusty's response. We don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Like, so what? Do we try and go away and get blown up? Like, why are you frustrated?
Well, they're mutant lizards in Marrakesh.
Yeah, and don't come crying to him. I love that they're headed to Marrakesh, just one of these cities that, I mean, it exists and is probably vibrant and has lots of cool people in it, but also primarily exists in fiction as this object
Adventure
of
zone.
Fascination for adventures. Yeah. So on the ground, Rusty gets real lippy with the officer here, and the officer fires back at him, calling him Grandpa. Because he's this scrawny disaster-bodied, guy with, is bald. And then he is extremely offended at this. And this is going, this minor comment is going to be the inciting incident for the entire episode.
Well, in both of them, right?
Yes.
Because at the same time, Brock hands his license to kill, his OSI license, but it is expired. So both of them are sent into this midlife spiral
Right.
of identity. Like, you are not a young man, Rusty. You are not licensed to kill Brock.
Yes.
Like, they have a twin journey here of their identity being fucked over, and kind of sets everything off.
Yes.
So Rusty has a hard time with this. Like, he is in front of the mirror, kind of looking at his body. He has a body a lot like my friend Austin. Just throwing that out there. Like, friend Austin has a Rusty Venture body. And except my friend Austin is hairier. It was once described is his body looking, or his butt looking like 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream that fell in the floor at a barber shop.
Oh no!
And yeah,
I don't like that
friends
one
are mean
bit.
to each other.
Yeah,
Like, it's you come up with colorful ways to insult your friends.
that's true. I mean, maybe you do.
Well, come on, man.
No.
Like you never give it. I've never given any of my friends shit. I don't do that. It's 2020. I'm sensitive.
No. I just obviously I'm joking.
Yeah. I just think everybody should be Steven Universe friends. I don't want anybody to actually bust each other's balls ever.
Yeah, no, that's not my opinion. It's funny to
No, I
pretend
know.
that, but yeah.
Well, I'm not. I'm making fun of a straw man.
Okay.
But yeah, he's having a hard time with, like,
He's what?
He's in denial.
Yeah. It's like I was Rusty Venture, boy wonder. And he resolves to put himself back out there, and of course, he has to do this with a new look and a super hot car. Meanwhile, Brock is in full on just depression, like full Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's sprawled out on the hood of his Dodge, and Hank and Dean very sweetly are trying to console him, saying, "Hey, we'll help you prepare for your exam or whatever." But like, Brock is not present for any of this.
Yeah. He's taking the black pill. This is when Rusty pulls up in his new convertible, the classic midlife crisis.
Yep. But it's brown and angular. It's a really hideous car that they chose for him.
Yeah, all this stuff is very ugly.
Yeah.
But would have been cool when Rusty was a kid.
Yeah, like this is like 1976 cool is what this is. And he's got this outfit that is an actual outfit. You can see the reference image. It's linked on the wiki that he's wearing, but like just a massive collared shirt. He's got basically like bell bottoms on, and he's got like a tan vest with this awful brown and green colored like diamond pattern on it. He's wearing a huge medallion that turns out to be the 1979 science prize that he got for writing a paper about gravity.
Yeah. Like, this is very sad.
Yeah.
This is like, laying the groundwork for when the monarch is like, what can I do to this guy that life hasn't already done to him? A key line later. Yeah. So he's like, you have a new mission, Brock. You don't need a license to kill for that. You're on Operation Wingman.
Yeah.
You have to help me get some. And like, it's in front of his kids. It's all fucking gross.
Yeah.
Brock says he's got to see this. He goes along. And when Rusty pulls away, he puts Dean in charge, which is very funny.
Yep.
He's like, yes, I am in charge. And then Hank says, take a bow, and hits him in the balls.
Yeah, because of course Hank would.
There's a good line too where he's dressed up, where Dean says, why you dressed like the clown on my lamp, Pop?
And like, I don't know, like if this is like a popular lamp or whatever, but like I can totally picture the lamp that he has.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the cover of Popular Lamp Weekly.
It was Popular Lamps 1976. Yeah.
I was thinking, this is a digression. Last night I was thinking about just like wandering in thought, and like, would you go to a dentist who is named Tooth Clown? I feel like the answer is no, but I was just like, I was imagining the font and it being like, I was thinking of two ways, like one with like big circus font and stuff.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, what is that? Surely isn't a dentist. But then I was thinking of a very serious font that was like Tooth Clown, comma DDS. It's just like,
I mean, so like
there's
there's certain dentists that advertise themselves as being like dentists for scared people. Like, oh, we're the gentle dentist or something like that. I imagine Tooth Clown would be the opposite. Like this is
real ballsy.
Yeah, for the most hardcore people who need a root canal.
Do an extra one while you're in there, Doc.
Yeah.
Honk, honk.
I need one of those Jaws grills.
Hook me up, Death Clown.
Yeah. Dr. Tooth Clown. I laughed so hard at that my vision started graying out.
DDS. Hello, I'm Tooth Clown.
I'm Doctor. We're dentists going way back.
I'm Dr. Tooth Clown.
We changed it at Ellis Island. We were Tooth Quinstein. Oh,
We just
God.
thought it would sell better.
Yeah.
Come from an old family of tooth clowns, and they pull out like a book of woodcuts of like all these like jesters and harlequins dancing in a village with teeth, like Midsummer.
Yep.
And it's like, well, we're from the old country. It was a profession.
This was my father's tent. It's just in a blasted bit of bone. Oh, Jesus.
Anyhow,
So
first appearance of Night Nails.
yeah, Night Nails, which they kept reusing because they got the background painting back and it was really good, and they could just hand it to the animators and say, show it from this angle, and it would be fine. But yeah, this is eventually where like hunter gatherers will work. Like it is the perennial spot for them.
Yeah. There's a weird little animation joke here where Doc pulls out a toupee out of his glove compartment, but because of the animation style, he doesn't look bad with this. Like you could just have a character with this hair in this world.
Yeah. No, but like we are meant to believe that he looks bad because Brock says you look like a big doll, and of course Rusty's back. Yeah. Brock is only here for morbid curiosity here at the strip club, which going to pick up women at a strip club is weird. It's a weird flex.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
maybe I've been out the
Brock
game for too
succeeds.
long, but what's that?
Brock succeeds.
Well, of course, yeah. But the bartender here is rude to Brock and is busting his balls about his mullet. And of course, I would never bust anybody's balls about their mullet, right?
No,
But
you don't make fun of people's personal appearance. You're raised by Adventure Time
I know, right?
because you're like 20.
Hi, I'm 20. Yeah. And Brock is incensed by this, but he cannot do anything about it, which says a lot about him, that he is pulling out a knife and biting his lip so hard that it drips blood because he wants to kill somebody for being rude to him.
It says about as much as the fact that he can't get it up without thinking about killing people.
Yep.
Rusty orders a Rob Roy. I was really I didn't know what a Rob Roy was, so I looked it up. I was really hoping it would be like a really girly drink.
No, it's a
but
it's like
it's
a
not.
Manhattan with scotch instead of bourbon.
Yeah, it's fine, but I was really hoping this was finally the origins of Rusty's drinking thing.
They call it a girl drink. I would call this like a grandpa drink.
Yeah, it's just old timey.
Yeah.
He asks Brock how to get laid. Brock says you have to put the vibe out, and he takes his tails from his suit jacket and pushes them out of the way to stick his butt out and says, "Welcome, Matt's out. Who sees? Let's see who bites."
Yeah.
This kind of again this useless oily sexuality is doing a lot of work.
just the idea, like, all right, well, if anything's gonna bring it in, here's my idea of what my best feature is. Let's just stick my ass out.
Bony hole behind.
I will always love like jokes about how like the physical transaction of paying a stripper.
Yeah. I feel like this joke has been made a lot. Like he pays with a 20 and gets change.
Yeah.
Like getting change is a joke.
Yes.
And it's even a joke that's been used in this show.
Yes.
Where Brock needed change. But it is still funny.
Him fishing
Funny
for the
thing.
20 in his coin purse is very good to me. Again,
Yeah.
a very informed attribute.
And then, him, like, this has real, like, observed first time in a strip club energy.
Yeah,
Thing,
like
oh, she's
him-
into me. Should I follow her? What do you mean?
Him nervously ripping the coaster apart
Yeah.
when
Oh,
he's
yeah.
alone. Yeah.
That's really good. So Brock immediately just goes and seals the deal. Like, he just walks up to the stripper and goes, and she's going to blow him in the bathroom.
Yeah.
But he can't do it because he's remembering how much he likes to kill people. And this is a montage of largely references to Johnny Quest episodes. Specifically, there's one where Race Bannon dyed himself purple with berries and pretended to be a primitive people's god and called them horrible savages.
He called them ignorant
really
savages is the words that they at least they were called. Yeah.
In Johnny Quest. So this is little Johnny Quest things, and he can't do it.
Yeah.
He stops, mid blowjob because if he's not happy.
Nope.
Can't be horny if you're not happy.
Yeah. So he blows out, blows out of there, at least out of the bathroom. We get a little cutaway to a couple of times here to the boys, to Hank's reign of terror here. They do the standard little kid thing of having a drink the grossest thing contest.
Yeah. That's very well observed as well.
Yeah.
Like just mixing mayonnaise and Sprite and all this fucking shit.
Yeah.
And Hank will do it. And, the deal is it's like $15 Grandpa's old catcher's mitt, which is like very weird priceless thing.
Yeah.
And he has to be a slave for the night, which is also a concept that kids have.
Yeah.
This is so well observed. Like Hank wins, and when he's drinking, he like pounds on the table.
Mm-hmm. He's like, dude, I spit in that.
When he comes back, I love that he's just like he's brushing his shoes with his toothbrush. He's like, "Brush harder, Gunga Din."
Yeah, well,
yes, Effendi.
And he has him like he has him wearing a wearing a terry cloth towel as a turban. Like they're going full on. Also, I love the idea that these 16-year-old kids know it's like a Cary Grant movie from the 1930s.
Yeah, or a Rudyard Kipling poem from the 1890s.
Yeah,
cool.
Either
or. Like it's very like the Beds taught them. But I love Hank taking roles so much. He's just gonna live
later on.
He does, yeah. He does a lot of different wears a lot of hats in this episode. It's like one of my favorite things about Hank.
Well, I have not been able to get over you comparing him to Charlie from It's Always Sunny. That's almost exactly the joke.
Yeah, he just goes for it. How are you supposed to push the lemonade if you don't sell the grinders?
This brings people in so we can sell them 10 cents worth of sugar water.
Water for $2. I can't bear another strike. And it's like, you're just pretending. It's so cute.
Hank Hill isn't real.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
So Rusty comes out and we get another one of Rusty's edgy comedy lines about how he gave money to a woman that said she was 19, but she had a cesarean scar and more lines on her face than a mirror at Studio 54. Cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, baby. So, he's like, as this is happening, as he's pulling apart this coaster nervously, Brock's just like, I gotta get out of here, and takes the car keys and leaves. He's like, you can't leave me, you're my bodyguard. He's like, how can I? So Rusty is stranded. But luckily, unluckily, a woman at the end of the bar buys him a drink. And this is Charlene, who is in disguise.
Yes, this is Dr. Girlfriend. I love that they didn't have a fake name ready. We have Monarch watching in on an earpiece, giving her directions about how to flirt with them. And I love that they didn't plan for the contingency of Rusty asking her name.
Yeah, we didn't plan for this. But of course, Rusty is just like way into it because
a woman gave him any measure of attention. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's also just the way it should be.
Yeah.
This is like affirming all of his priors. Like this is how he imagined going into the strip club would go. And he's at that moment where he's tearing apart the coaster and he's thinking like, maybe I need to challenge all of my life assumptions and then just get saved from having to introspect.
Hello, comfort zone.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Brock heads back home. I love this scene where Brock is all like, why would you dress like that? Like he's just so tired. He's like too tired to be shocked by the boys.
Yeah, and he says something true to Dean, because Hank is trying to turn the tables and make Dean drink something gross, and Dean doesn't want to do it. Brock says, "Oh, you never back out of a bet. Be a man."
Yeah,
which don't back out of a bet. But I love that Brock doesn't stop talking as he leaves the room.
Yeah. Sad Brock is great.
It's so good.
Dr. Girlfriend comes to her car like, well, this is me, and gives Rusty a ride home, and they start making out. The Monarch is watching this, and this is beginning the foreshadowing of the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend being incredibly like kinky.
Yeah.
Like there's later jokes and stuff too, where they talk about like bringing people for threesomes for special occasions and stuff. But he's like straight up getting off on this, and he ends up masturbating, like reaching down and doing front rubbing.
Yeah, he's doing like he's doing the slow jerk sketch from Whitest Kids.
You never finish.
You don't rub it on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's interrupted because a henchman came by to get a glass of juice because he was thirsty.
Because I'm thirsty.
I love the idea that you pass through the command room to get to the fridge to get juice.
One of the funniest jokes in this that is like a Rusty one-liner that really works for me though. The Dr. Girlfriend asks him if he has any condoms, and the Monarch is like, whoa, this is too far. Rusty pulls out a condom that crumbles the dust. And then this is my favorite line that Rusty has in the whole episode, or his second favorite line. It's on hot condoms. Rusty doesn't need a gadget to please a woman. I think that's so fucking funny. It reminds me like of the Beaver Boys sketch from Tim and Eric, like the second song where like, don't bring no condoms because we ain't gonna use them. Like just delivering that as like an enticing thing is a really immature joke. Like I'm in favor of condoms and against pregnancy and STIs, but I think that is very funny.
Yeah, no.
But gadget.
Just the fundamental misunderstanding of why a woman would ask him to use a condom.
Yeah.
It's like it's both really selfish and also really outdated, just like everything else. Like Rusty is somebody who did not pay attention to the world, like when AIDS became a thing. You know, like why would somebody who's stuck in the 70s think about condoms?
It's like the joke, that Austin Powers, like those are for sailors.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Except it's funnier because it's showing it's not just ignorance; it's this like misunderstanding of it. Gadgets. I think that's a really good line.
Yeah. He's filing it under the same the same column as like a French tickler you would get in in a coin op machine in a bathroom at Nightingales.
Yeah. Dr. Girlfriend injects him in the neck with something. And he thinks this is just rough play, which that's really weird. That comes up later too. And I'm like, how are you mistaking getting an injection in your neck for like anything flirty or sexy?
Well, it's also like him having the sexual fantasy about Mrs. Impossible providing him another sample.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. Everybody in the show is full of sex hang-ups, like weird sex things.
Yeah, just very, very, very confused sexuality on Rusty here. So, cut to the next morning. Dean is giving a practice exam to Brock. And Rusty comes down, and they're horrified because he's got this welt on his neck. It's just like a big spot on his neck right now, but it's going to spread and get less ignorable. Yeah, and he just calls it a hickey, like, and he's parading it out in front of his kids, like, oh, I didn't sleep very much last night. Dude. Yeah,
like I'm bringing 2 coffees upstairs. Like this is your fucking son. Like, he's 13, dude. Like this is messed up.
I love that he asked Brock to go get him more condom.
Yeah, if you're out, could you get me more condom? I tend to seem to be out. I used my one, He goes upstairs and Brock hears a noise, knows the Monarch is outside.
He says it very casually, too.
Yeah, Monarch's outside. And this is just the Monarch picking up Dr. Girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Just like Rusty walks in and sees Dr. Girlfriend being pulled out the window by a rope ladder and doesn't think twice about it. Some time passes and the welt is turned into this huge red tumor covering the entire side of his head.
This is so gross. It's like it's intersecting with his eye in a way, like where he blinks. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell that the material is on his eyelid. Yeah. It's horrible.
It's climbing up his hairline and it's like messing with his wig. It's really good.
Yeah.
But he's on the phone with Dr. Girlfriend, like asking for a second date, and I will never not laugh at the joke where the grown man is laying on the bed with his feet up, talking on the phone like a teenage girl. Yeah, like dream date.
Really good. The Monarch is trying to like Dr. Girlfriend's trying to dodge it, and the Monarch's trying to give her advice, but he won't take no for an answer.
Right.
She eventually acquiesces. And he accuses her of falling in love with Rusty and sleeping with him.
Yeah. Which is really funny because he was straight up getting his cuck jerk on earlier.
Yeah. He was like
cuckoldry jerk, not cuck. I'm not using that as like a weird slur. Yeah. CJ.
No, I
Yeah,
understand.
he's CJ. Yeah.
He's giving himself a CJ. So Dean is helping Brock with the exam, as we mentioned, and he comes back and he says, like, well, you did really poorly on the written exam. You're gonna have to do really well on the physical exam. And Hank is in costume again, just like, that's where I come in. He pulls away the steak and eggs to give him a glass of raw eggs, like Rocky.
Did you spit in this? And he's going full on Mickey from Rocky. Like, he even says you're going to eat lightning and crap.
Samson.
Oh gosh, just turning into this horrible drill sergeant for him, to the point where, like, later on in the episode, Brock says, I can kill you if I pass this test.
Yeah. Sorry, Brock. Rusty comes down. He's got a new outfit on, which is also based on these 70s outfits. And his wound is large. Everyone notices it. Brock expresses some concern over it, and he's like, no, well, why shouldn't I? This is nothing. I have to get out there because the boys need a new mommy. Rusty needs a new mommy.
Yeah.
Which is gross.
And then the kids are like, oh, well, we never knew our first mommy, Pop. You never told her about her, which is tremendously emotionally abusive, actually.
Yeah. And the reason why he doesn't do it is because he doesn't want to just repeat it every single time.
Yeah.
The clones die or whatever.
Right.
It's just like you can imagine, like, you don't tell these kids that much.
Yeah, because you never know. It's like, God, you just like you say, I'm not going to tell the story until everybody's here because I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
But they this is also part of the evasive dance that Hammer and Public do about dangling and not dropping the mommy bomb.
Yes. So as he's about to say this, Charlene comes to pick him up. So he runs out.
Yeah.
While this is happening, we are seeing this kind of metamorphosis gone back and forth between this training montage for Brock to a fake montage song called Rev Me Up with Two V's, written by Doc Hammer and sung by a friend of his, Jasper McVane.
Yeah, no, so Doc Hammer wrote this as Jasper McVane. It's just a fake character that he made up as like a washed up clam kind of guy. The singer is just a friend, and the person who wrote the lyrics was the voice actor
Bud Manstrong.
For Bud Manstrong.
Yeah, and this is part of a concept record of a fake artist who did like a shitty song from all these different eras of music.
Yeah.
The lyrics are incredibly dumb. Like, watching this with closed captioning, because I do that with everything now because I'm old and deaf. I'm not deaf. I'm just like, I have a harder time hearing. That's what I mean. And the lyrics are incredibly dumb. I don't know if you saw the lyrics of this song.
No. I was watching this without the subtitles on the DVD. So I did not see that. You can't really make them out. Like, it's almost sung. It sounds like Simlish if you don't have the lyrics in front of you.
Yeah, it's just rhyming dictionary stuff.
Yeah.
There's a great bit like where Hank and Dean dress up like Olivia Newton-John in the physical video. And they're like, come on, Brock, cardio is important. No. No.
And then Dean comes out in pads, and we get like Brock just destroying him, doing all of these like grabs and throws, like culminating in him like smashing Dean into a locker so hard that the steel bends.
He's a berserker.
Yeah.
He's Minsk. So he's heading off to do his test. Hank gives Brock a packed lunch, a sandwich with the crust cut off like I like, which is a very funny detail.
Yeah. Dean gives him the communicator watch, which is loaded with answers. And I love that Helper gives him a lucky rabbit's foot.
And a hug.
Yeah, and a hug. Like, so he is both superstitious and sentimental.
Yep. It's very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
As he leaves, the boys hear a scream from upstairs. They head upstairs where their dad's head, like he's mostly under a blanket. Rusty says, leave if you have a weak stomach. And Dean immediately goes.
Yeah.
Dean never sees what's happening.
Nope.
Like, every time he shows up in the scene, he's got a hand over his eyes.
Because he listens to
and that's
his
just a normal thing to him. Yeah. It's so good.
The different ways that Dean and Hank react to this are amazing to me.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's actually a little bit opposite of the last episode where Hank got the serum. Yeah. And Dean was like, oh, we can handle this. It's normal. We're the Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
But they, when they go, Rusty reveals his body, which it's his head on a gigantic caterpillar body.
Huge. Like, it covers the entire bed. And he's giving like this huge speech, like what you're about to see is ripped from the pages of Kafka. And his idea about this, he does not connect this to the pain in his neck or the welt that, extended from where the injection happened. No, he thinks that this is the result of years of being in the super science game, saying, in short, I pissed in God's eye and he blinked. So just the idea.
That is my favorite Rusty line from the episode.
Yeah.
I was sure that was from something. And no, I Googled it. Like it's a Rusty Venture original.
It's pretty good. But it's just the idea that you roll the dice enough.
It's very good. Helper comes up and picks up his skin that he pulled off. Little trivia note, they actually did draw Doc's genitals under there.
Yeah.
Most of the time there's nothing under the genital black bars. This time there were.
Yeah.
And Hank's just like, wow, I bet you if you put that under the pillow, Tooth Fairy, I'll give you $1,000. Which is very funny that the Tooth Fairy just exchanges for anything.
Just any body part?
Body part. The body fairy.
Yeah. But Rusty's like, you're taking this really well. Like, I don't understand your reaction to this. And it's like, we just this is, we see weird stuff like this all the time. It doesn't even make a difference that it's his dad. So
yeah, last week we were fighting a dinosaur.
Yeah,
right. He just kind of.
But this is not a cause for any introspection on Rusty's part. The idea that he has traumatized and deranged his kids in the way that he was. No, it's, he's got this bigger problem. Admittedly, I would probably be more focused on the on the caterpillar body, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, me too. Yeah. So this kind of we cut over to the cocoon where Dr. Girlfriend is expressing regret over what she did. Like, it's like, oh, you guys aren't so different. He's not so bad if you get to know him. And the Monarch is like, oh, you fell in love with him.
Yeah, like you turncoat. Why would you? So he's my worst enemy. Why are you saying these nice things about him?
And you had sex with him. And she's like, I didn't have sex with him.
Right.
Rusty is in the lab telling Helper he has to be his hands. And what is Helper good for? Why is he eating the test tubes? It's very funny. They cut over to him eating it, and then he gets a stomach ache, and it's really cute because Helper's the cutest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I love Rusty just being like, well, of course you have a tummy ache. You're eating acids and bases.
It's going to be a problem. Yeah.
It's so cute.
And also very cute is that, normally Helper rolls around basically on what looks like an office chair casters, like the base of an office chair. And when he prepares to shit, he grows actual legs so he can squat. And shit out broken glass and acid that immediately dissolves through the floor.
And he's like, oh, it's very funny. All this stuff with Doc and Helper is very fun.
Yeah. Like Helper is, I realized why he was entertaining, is that he's just Beaker. He's literally just
better
Beaker. Yeah. Because he's a robot.
Because he's a robot, and Beaker just kind of panics. Helper does other things. He's sweet too.
You bite your fucking tongue. I love Beaker.
What does Beaker do other than panic? He just goes like meep, 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 and he's sad because the bald one is being mean to him.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. It's a good act.
I don't know, man.
He's my favorite Muppet. Bite your tongue.
What's your favorite Muppet?
Beaker's my fucking favorite Muppet, okay?
A2 Scooter? A2 Pepe the Prawn? No, he's a good Muppet. There's just there's not a lot of jokes to him. That's all I'm saying.
It's just a good performance,
It is a good performance.
Yeah. It's the magic is in the viewing is the thing.
Yeah.
So we cut over to the exam. I love this because immediately when Brock goes in, the proctor confiscates his communicator watch. They're aware that this is a vector for cheating. We get to see the firearms exam. This is where it's established that Brock does not use guns.
Yes.
We've never seen him use a gun before, but this is where he says no, this I all I need is my knife. This awesome K-bar knife that I would love to have one of those.
he ends up, since he has to take the gun, he takes it and uses it as a boomerang, and then uses the thing to kill all the dummies, including picking up one that is obviously a civilian and using it to kill another one, which he then stands up. The timing on that is very good.
Like the very end of this. So he throws his knife into an electrical panel to stop the mechanisms from working, and all of the ones that are around him, he like screams and stomps and does like an AOE to break all of them around him.
Yeah. Yeah, he does hold down the R button while pressing triangle on this thing. It's very funny that he stops the thing, too. Like that is, because he's in this berserker rage.
Yeah.
The proctor is talking to him. He's like, well, on the driving exam, you wrecked every car except for yours. In the written exam, you just drew this little guy with wings.
Yeah.
He's like, Icarus from Led Zeppelin. You don't like Zepp? I love that so much.
It's so good. Like again, these early season jokes that I just remember seeing, like maybe even just in promos. Like they had this in the commercial for this episode, but it says so much about Brock that just like whatever, I don't need the written exam, I'm just going to do this doodle, and it works, right? The proctor rips up his exam and says, everybody talks about you like you're a god. My dad is General Traister, which that shocked
First
me.
appearance.
The first mention
of Traister.
of a major character who's going to show up like 4 seasons later.
He's a Hulk, son.
Yeah.
Fix it. Traister's incredible.
Just masterful Toby Huss performances that we're going to get down the line. I just want to dine on those. But Brock saved his dad's life, and you didn't disappoint me, so he passes. It's like it's like Men in Black, where Agent not K, Agent S, something or other, passes the exam by breaking all the rules.
You're asking the wrong dude. It's been a while since I've seen Men in Black.
Probably about 23 years. Yeah.
Yeah, almost exactly. Yeah. To the date. We go back to Brock or to Doc and Helper. Like it's escalated to her. Helper is holding like a shotgun at Rusty's head and telling him he's saying you're going to have to pull the trigger. It's so fun. Like all of the stuff with Helper and Doc is very fun.
But I love that like we have gone from like, all right, I'll mix up these chemicals. Let's see if we can reverse this to I hope my robot knows how to fire a shotgun. But Helper isn't able to do it. He's really distraught. Like he's abusing this robot by forcing him to kill him. And his backup plan is to wonder if Hank knows how to use a shotgun.
Yes. He starts to yell to do this to old Yeller. Yellow his paw, but silk starts coming out of his mouth, and all of the the first season's not animated particularly great, but I think they do an awesome job with how surprising it would be if like a bunch of silk just started flowing out of your mouth.
Yeah,
like his eyes and everything, and the way he's kind of into it.
Yeah, and the way that the hands just move automatically, it's so horrifying that your body would just take over by instinct on this. Like he is going so caterpillar that he gets focused on a light on the ceiling.
Yeah, like he looks at the light and he goes, so much. He comes in and, Hank asks him about like what he's doing. He's like, does it hurt? He's like, no, it's kind of compelling. I actually like it.
Yeah.
It's not hard. The little back legs do most of the work. And like, this is him like, just like learning about it and stuff, like being a scientist about this new situation he's in.
Oh, that's awful.
It's so good and scary.
And he's telling Hank, I have no idea what's going to come out of this cocoon that I'm weaving. You may have to do something horrible, which is extremely terrifying, but also like a reasonable thing for him to say in the situation. Yeah. Yep. The actual plan is fucking hilarious. We learn about this later on, but I should say it here. The Monarch's plan is to turn him into a mutant butterfly and get him to fly into a giant bug zapper that he bought.
Yep. Very good. Very good. We don't learn about that later this episode.
No, it's many seasons later. Yeah.
But it does answer a dangling question because yeah, well, I mean, I think so, because I remember when I watched this episode, I was like, what was their plan?
Oh, yeah.
That he just turns into a butterfly and then the end? Like, what does that do? I wanted to know what he would turn into.
Same. So, yeah. Dean comes in and he's covering his eyes. Like, hey, there's a lady with a really deep voice here. And Rusty says something heartbreaking. He tells her, oh, these last few days of you have been the best of my life, which fucking bleak.
He didn't get laid.
Right.
It's not like he's just saying these couple days where I happened to get laid and had a prospect of romance were the happiest days of my life. Like, he just got injected, knocked out.
Yeah.
And made it up in his head.
Yep.
He's such a rich fantasy life, which makes sense for, grown up Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
But it is very bleak. Very bleak. This is one of those episodes, again, like, now that it's been pointed out by the book, I can never not notice it, where it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
Like we did the thing. Dr. Girlfriend asks for one last kiss, injects him with an antidote. He passes out. And then Brock, now that he has his license, goes and kills a bartender for making fun of his mullet.
Our hero. And they save the resolution for the post credits. They're back in the lab. The boys are, and the cocoon arrives and opens and it deposits a naked Rusty onto the floor of the lab. And the kids do a go team venture, and that's about it. Have you looked into what happens inside of a cocoon when a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly?
Yeah, it's real weird. They totally turn into liquid.
Yeah, they turn into a soup.
Soup that then becomes a butterfly.
Yeah, like nothing, like nothing of the original thing exists. It's like fucking mystifying and terrifying. Yeah, I just felt like bringing that up because it feels appropriate.
It's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking scary.
It shouldn't happen. We need to stop it.
Yeah. The other bit of butterfly trivia for this episode is I'm listening to an audiobook about Chernobyl, and the atom bomb that was the first atom bomb that was dropped. The amount of matter, atomic matter that got crushed was the weight of a butterfly.
Oh wow!
Just merely the weight of a butterfly, and that caused that much destruction.
Was that
much energy.
Was that the first test that they did, or when they actually used it on a population center like Nagasaki?
Yeah, when they bombed Hiroshima.
Yeah.
So.
Science.
Just the weight of a butterfly. Big shout out to Midnight in Chernobyl. A chilling and really, really good book.
Yeah.
That since I'm a Chernobyl guy.
I'm also halfway through. I'm listening to an audiobook about the Radium Girls right now.
Ooh,
I've been poking
Yeah.
at that. So both of us are learning about radiation.
Yeah, they mentioned them in this book as well.
It's terrifying.
So, if that is a good book, you'll have to let me know because I got Audible credits, baby.
Oh,
and I want bleak science shit. I want to know about how radiation.
I've got more Audible credits than I know what to do with, man.
Yeah, it's all radiation. Just search radiation and just download all of them.
Yeah.
Shit's cool. It's scary.
Yeah, it's magic. Like it's literally.
The Brazil nut is the most radioactive food that's cleared for human consumption.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000 times the amount of radiation in a banana or something.
I've got a blackboard in my kitchen and 1,000 times a banana.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just like,
sorry. No, I know what you mean, but it's
that
just
old unit of measurements for radiation.
Sentences are good.
Oh no, he's got 57 banana worths of radiation. They gave him the propaganda number. Damn it! Not great, not terrible.
Damn it! Yeah, no, you got me. You
30
me.
bananas. Yeah.
No, I have a blackboard in my kitchen, and for the past few months, I've had it written up here. This is not a place of honor.
Yeah. Good to know. The result of a tragic chili. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Any final thoughts about this episode? I dig it. It's good character work. It's if this was like smacked into like a later season that was a little bit more joke dense, it would probably read as more of a bummer. But here, though, as things are being established, there's some real good meat here.
I like it a lot too. It's like I said, a little lighter on jokes. Yeah, like it's more funny situations. And I've been watching ahead, and like Tag Sailor It is in a couple episodes, and that's so dense with jokes.
Yeah,
that's like just funny, like throughout. Like there's just like a nonstop joke element to it.
Yeah,
and I like shows that operate that way. Like I like shows that are just kind of funny in spirit. The interesting thing is, I feel like there are some episodes that are like this, as well later in the series that are more like just kind of lore character episodes. I haven't watched it. I haven't done like a full rewatch of the series, but I remember The Invisible Hand of Fate, the Billy Quizboy origin episode, being one of those.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of sweet and good character work, but there aren't a lot of jokes in it. So I definitely allow this kind of thing every once in a while.
Yeah.
And it's better than The Incredible Mr. Bisbee, because that was also light on jokes, but also light on everything else.
Yeah.
This has, we get a lot of Doc's pride in that, but we didn't get a lot of other things.
Yeah, just
in
like,
this
what-
one, every character has a strong expression.
What if Walt Disney was evil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good app. Not my favorite in the season or anything, but good app.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, we would like for you to leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or whatever directory you get this from. That goes a great way to help us out.
We'd also like you to tune into Duckfest, December 18th. Duckstream, thank you. December 18th at twitch.tv/Duckfeed.tv. This is our annual charity 48-hour streaming marathon to benefit the Transactive Gender Gender Project.
Yes.
They're old school to me.
We've been doing this event for so long. This is 7th annual, but it's a great organization, provides education and resources for trans youth, their families, and their communities.
Yeah. It's going to be really fun.
Yep.
So donate if you can, watch if you can, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, the chat is a real good place to hang out. It's always a really good, positive kind of environment, which is a marvel on Twitch.
Yeah. We've only had to kick a couple people who were weird gate crashers.
Yeah.
Nobody who's in the know. If you want to get episodes of the show a week early or support your boys, you can do so by going to patreon.com/duckfeed.tv.
Yeah. I think
you
that's
can also leave us ratings or reviews.
I already said that one.
Did you already say that one?
Yeah, I already did. That was the first one I said. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, sorry.
No, we're gonna leave
so
it.
excuse me for wanting to put charity ahead of
No, that's fine.
our
It was
ratings
just
and reviews, but I guess I'm the monster.
It was the first thing that I thought of, Gary. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, that's an indictment of me.
Everything is fine.
Yeah. All right.
Everything's fine. We're going to record 2 abject sufferings after this. They're going to have weird competitive energy. And I'm going to win them.
I know I'm going to be. I know I'm the better man, and I'm going to prove it. So,
well, it's a face off, everyone.
Yeah. Oh,
Mom and
man.
Dad don't fight.
Nope.
Until next time,
Go Team Adventure.